Alright, so we're at the Craft Brewing underground lair and we're working on some projects here on Saturday. We got the wives out of the house, so we're working here. What we're going to do is Jeremy, in our previous little production there, transferred a beer out of this carboy. And then we've got some yeast slurry. And we'd like to brew this weekend, so there's really no point in culturing any yeast if we've got all this stuff here. So what you'll need to do this is none of this nonsense here, but you'll just need your carboy or your keg or whatever you're using to ferment in, and you'll just need your yeast slurry on the bottom. Now I'll show you the first step of getting this over and give you kind of a walkthrough on what to do, but this by no means will encompass all of the yeast washing that you'll probably want to do for long-term storage. This will just kind of get you ready for a pitch, either same day or next day. So what I like to do is I like to star sand a 2-liter flask. I find the 2 liters work really well for layering things out. And so I've got a big bucket of star sand here. You could just spray this if you want to, but with yeast I really don't want to dick around. So we won't need that anymore. We'll just shake this up nice and good. Get her all foamed up. And then we'll just discard that. And we're good to go here. So we want to move relatively quickly at this point. So we'll just get all this shite from our last production out of the way. I don't know why he fucks with my spray bottle, but he does. We'll spray this down, just the outside of this. And then this slurry you got here, just mix it up a little bit with the leftover beer you've got. And we're just going to pour it right into our 2-liter flask. And don't worry about any of the nasty sludge that you're taking with it. We're going to let this layer out in the fridge or on a concrete floor. So I've got more than enough here to do a couple of batches here. I've got about 600 mils in that flask. And realistically, when that separates, you probably have about 300 ml, which is more than enough to do, 20 gallons of beer in one pitch, or you can split it up depending on what you want to do. So, next step here, want to cover it up. So just start sanding that up all nice and good, and cap her up. Now, a couple of things you can do with this. One is if you've got a cold concrete floor, you can just put it on the floor in your basement. Otherwise, you can stick it in the fridge. And what you're wanting to have happen is you're wanting to get a nice sludge on the bottom of it with the beer obviously separated. Now, it's not incredibly important that you separate it, from a militant perspective. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're home brewing, for one. And number two, there's... Right, so you've got your slurry here, a very dirty slurry at that. And now what we want to do is we want to do the best that we can to separate the beer and all the crap out from the actual yeast cake itself. Now, on a homebrew scale, we don't really need to worry too much. If you had to pitch this right away, you could get away with it. What this is, this yeast is actually just Safale SO5. So realistically, this could go right into another batch if you had to get it done right away. If you want to clean it up a little bit, just throw it on a concrete floor or in your fridge and let it sit until you get a nice separation. And it doesn't have to be insane, like it doesn't have to be a compact yeast cake, but just enough that you can kind of decant the crap that's floating around on the top. So aside from that, I'm not going to brew today. I'll probably brew tomorrow, so what I'll do is I'll just stick this into the fridge, let it layer out, and then I'll be ready to do 20 gallons of beer tomorrow. For Craft Brewing, I am Ty.